teams coming down. So you got what, Southampton, Leicester, and Ipswich.
Yeah.
The only one that probably worries me a little bit out of the three would probably be Ipswich, because I would imagine they're under good ownership. I'd imagine they'll spend again.
This goes back to what Nick was saying as well. Like, I think the Championship, the vast majority of it is pretty even, really. Like from a good, like from pretty much like the edge of the playoffs to the edge of the relegation zone. Like, there's very little really to tell the difference between. I think Leicester are going to be in that sort of category next year. You know, depending on how results go and everything.
Blues legend.
You're right, mate.
One message to the Bluenoses for me.
Keep right on.
The Blues.
Come on.
Keep right on.
Keep right on. Hey, Ian. Keep right on, baby.
Fucking Blues.
Keep right on.
Come on, you Blue boys.
Keep right on. Keep right on.
What's going on, Bluenoses? It's me again, the boy in blue, back with another video. And joining me tonight is Tommy.
Hello.
Blues folk.
How
are we doing, mate?
Good, good. I'm very happy, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm a bit hay fevery, so apologies if I'm a bit bunged up and everything.
You look really flustered, man.
I feel like I'm on like some sort of lag at the moment. It's weird.
You're all right though.
I'm good, man. Yeah, I've just been. It's been a busy month. This has May, as honestly. I'm just sort of happy to have like a couple of weeks, just like with no football or whatever. Everything's just like chilling and just doing nothing really.
That's it, mate. What we're going to do now the football season's finished, eh?
Yeah. Sleep, probably.
And joining us as well is me, Blues brother. How you doing, son? Nick?
Yeah.
In Blues?
Yeah, I'm all right, Joe. I'm not too bad. Pretty much the same as Tommy. Apologies if my camera keeps freezing or whatever, guys. Nothing worse than watching a stream when the camera's freezing or something. Well, I'll get my lead sorted out and that. Yeah, I'm not too bad, brother. I haven't been very well last couple of weeks, but yeah, I'm okay, man. Looking forward to the stream. See what we can cover today.
Yeah, you feeling better though now, or are you still a bit ropey? Or?
No, I'm still a bit under the weather, to be honest, mate. Got a lot going on, kind of my personal life and stuff, so a little bit stressed. But yeah, I'm all right. I'm not too bad.
Good, mate. Good. Yeah, so this one then is just like a chilled out one. Obviously, the season's come to an end. We got a few months now where we can start getting the transfer rumours coming in. What I wanted to talk about is like how you think the season's going to be, and then obviously we've got. I think it's the second consecutive season now where there's been 3 teams that have got promoted from the Championship into the Premier League, and then they've got relegated. So I think that just kind of shows now the class of the Premier League, but also the ideology of what Tom Wagner wants to do. Like, we all know that he's not here to mess around. There's been like a lot of coverage about whether it's just like media jumping on the Blues wagon about getting back-to-back promotions. We'll talk about that as well. What you guys think. But obviously, we've had 2 consecutive seasons with Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton getting promoted and then getting relegated. And then the previous season, Luton, who've just got relegated again, Burnley and Sheffield United. And now, obviously, Sheffield United are in the final now, aren't they? And then it's out of Sunderland as well, isn't it, now?
Yeah, they won last night against Coventry.
But yeah, what do you guys think about the back-to-back promotion scenario first? I mean, do you think that could be kind of likely, or?
Yeah, I think we can do it. Definitely, I feel like there's no reason to say that we couldn't at least aim for like playoffs. I think that's opportunity, isn't it? We smashed the league this season. We've got a lot of great players. We've got a really good team spirit and everything. I think like all the players are really together and they're up for it. And I think they're heading into the season feeling confident and feeling optimistic, which is a nice change per usual, rather than just planning on really like how far down the league we're going to finish. It makes a nice change. Yeah, I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what sort of additions we make, because obviously can't really say anything just this early on. anything can happen. It's football at the end of the day. So
we'll
see, won't we? Yeah.
Nick?
Yeah, I'm feeling quite positive, to be honest. I had a look at the teams what will be in the Championship next season, and I don't think there's nothing to really be scared of. Do you know what I mean? Like you've had Leeds and Burnley get automatic promotion, miles ahead of the rest of the teams last season. You know, then you look at the next four, like Sunderland, Coventry, Bristol City, and who's the other team? Sheffield United. Yeah, I mean Sheffield United pretty much. I would imagine Sheffield United go up, but you know, then you look further down the league, and there's no one really that jumps out at me that thinks, you know, we can't give them a good game or finish higher than them in the league. There isn't. Teams coming down, so you got Southampton, Leicester, and Ipswich.
Yeah.
The only one that probably worries me a little bit out of the three would probably be Ipswich, because I would imagine they're under good ownership. I'd imagine they'll spend again. I think Leicester are in a bit of trouble financially, so I'm not so worried about Leicester. I'd imagine Southampton will be up and around top six, but all the other teams in the Championship are pretty mediocre, mate. I can't see why we can't definitely get a playoff spot, if not automatics. Do you know what I mean? With a good recruitment over the summer.
Yeah. But another thing I wanted to talk about as well is I'm just going to go back to the previous season. Obviously, it was a bit of a shit show. We all know it was a shit show. We had like various managers, a squad that, looking at it as Blues fans, it was pretty broken. We had a lot of players that probably didn't have the unity that we've got now. I mean, the unity and the team chemistry on the pitch is just phenomenal to watch, on and off the ball. You know, we've seen scenarios that they've got into like a couple of sticky situations, and they've been backing each other up. I don't think we would have saw that with the previous squad that year we got relegated. Like the likes of Leicester and Ipswich back then, especially Leicester, they were head and shoulders above everybody else in that league. You could tell that there was a Premier League side. But like in terms of where we are now with this squad, I think that we're going to be in a better position than we was then. But I think it's going to be a very entertaining season. And like you say, you know, I think Ipswich are going to be better than there was that season. Like Nick said, I think they're going to be spending money. Leicester, probably not so much, because I know that Nick mentioned about them being in financial trouble. But then you got like the likes of Southampton as well, and they was a decent side in that season. But looking at it with the squad we've got now, I definitely think that we're going to be challenging for a playoff position at least. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys think of like the teams that have coming back down? Do you think they're going to offer anything?
Yeah, I think Nick was talking about Ipswich doing pretty all right, you know, and battling away well in the Premier League. They've got a good team anyway, to be fair. Like Hutchinson, I really like. Liam Delap's a good striker with goal scorer and everything. So I think they might cause some problems. Yeah, I think Leicester look a little bit struggly, perhaps, you know. But again, you know, you never know.
Do you think they're going to be like a similar squad to where there was when we was in the Championship the season we got relegated? Because like I said, you know, they was head and shoulders above. I mean, you could tell that
I still don't know, actually. I think in the two games that we played against them, and bearing in mind we got relegated, I don't know, they didn't offer like anything that special. Obviously, they won the league and everything. Yeah. But I think this goes back to what Nick was saying as well. Like, I think the Championship, the vast majority of it is pretty even, really. Like from like a good, like from pretty much like the edge of the playoffs to the edge of the relegation zone. Like, there's very little really to tell the difference between. I think Leicester are going to be in that sort of category next year, you know, depending on how results go and everything. But like, yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? I didn't really rate them particularly when we played them 2 seasons ago. When we were in the Championship, I thought we played all right against them. And
I rated them at our place as well when they beat us at our place. I mean,
they weren't like amazing though. To be fair, they got 2 they got 2 counter-attacking goals. Mavadidi was probably a little bit too good for the Championship and not good enough for the Premier League. Yeah. So I don't know. Again, finances play a massive role in the Championship, as we all know, because if you get put up against financial fair play, like you've had it, as we've learned in the past before, like when we had like Pedersen signing and everything, we had those points deducted. We had probably more money to spend, but because we went up against that financial fair play, it was like game over, really. You know, like there's no chance of us getting promoted or anything like that. You know?
He was the one who celebrated in front of the Tilton as well, weren't he?
Yeah, and Dewsbury Hall as well. Yeah, they both sort of like ran off into the corner. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Mavididi. I think he's a bit
same here.
All talk, no bite, really.
The thing is, like, that Leicester team was absolute. I mean, bear in mind, we did give them a good game, both games, but that was a really good team. That Mavididi, like Dewsbury Hall, really good players. And they had, who did they have as manager now? The Chelsea manager. 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒆𝒄. So they're under completely different manager now. But that was I thought they'd go on and do all right. Do you know what I mean? It just like I think you mentioned John at the start, the gap between the Championship and the Premier League just massive, man. Do you know what I mean? Like a team what can blow the Championship apart like Leicester did. And you'll probably see this season with Leeds and Burnley probably struggle. Do you know what I mean? So your recruitment's got to be spot on. I thought Ipswich recruitment policy last season when they went up was quite decent in terms of getting top Championship players, which is quite reasonable. Do you know what I mean? You know, I think Tommy mentioned they spent about 150 million on really good, you know, high-end Championship Premier League players, and they haven't done much. You know, it's been 2 seasons now that the top 3 have gone up and come straight back down.
Yeah.
So it's really important that we get the right players in. If we're going straight to go. If we're going to go back to back, it's important we get the right players in. Do you know what I mean? What are good to go straight away in the Premier League.
So we know that Leicester had spent, was it 90 million, Tommy?
90, yeah, that's what I found.
90.
Transfer market.
Ipswich 150 million, was it?
150, yeah, they spent quite a lot in the end, yeah.
And what was Southampton's? Did we find out what that was in the end?
I'll have a quick check actually now, yeah. So
So, I mean, it just goes to show, I mean, spending that kind of money and these, you know, like, to second...
Southampton spent 120
million, you know. It's mad, isn't it? Like, we get slated for spending 30 million.
No, exactly, yeah. No, I mean, like, how much do you get nowadays for get promoted? Like, it's around about 120 now, isn't it? It's that sort of price. So all of that promotion money pretty much goes on transfers immediately.
Yeah, well, that's the sort of money you got to spend to get up. Do you know what I mean? If these owners are, you know, want to get us up this season coming on, then that's it. They've got to be spending that type of money. Do you know what I mean? So, and I think they will. I think we're in for a big summer transfer window that guys are doing, man.
Do you think we'll spend more money?
Potentially, mate. Potentially, we could, or thereabouts. It's just how astute they are with the signings. You know, where they're going to look and what sort of players can they get in. You know, the loan players need to be really good. You know, I think we get 5 loan spots. If we can get them 5 loan spots bang on, spend a few quid in other areas. You know, we've got a decent squad anyway. No, there's no reason why we can't fucking do it. Do you know what I mean? And then you just get up, and then you've got to survive that first season. If you survive that first season in the Premier League, I mean, look at Nottingham Forest. You know, their first season in the Premier League, they're just about, and Villa, they just about survived relegation. Following season, you know, look, their Champions League, Europa, and Villa done the same. So it's really important that we, when we get to the Premier League, is to invest again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you think, Tommy? Do you think we'll spend more than 30 million?
Yeah,
this transfer?
100%. Yeah,
30,
I mean, like, Yeah, more than 30, 100%. I think because the way that players just are worth what they are nowadays, the thing that always makes me smile was I was watching a Bobby Robson documentary, and he got asked by a reporter when he signed the Brazilian Ronaldo. He says, like, do you reckon that this guy will one day be worth 20 million euros? And like that was like in the 90s, that was, like players are just worth more nowadays. So like if you go and buy like a centre back for, I don't know how much we paid for Newman or something like that, but like, you've got to imagine that he's worth at least 6 or 7 million. So that's one player just in particular. So we're definitely going to spend more than 30, because if one player is just 5 million, then, there's 6 other players that come straight through the door, then you've already done that, and we're going to get more than 6 players in this
We're going to go look at Jay Stansfield as well, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is with Stansfield that's annoyed me this season, with other people saying, oh, why have you, he's £20 million worth. Like, yeah, because, that's how much the Fulham had haggled with us, you know what I mean? And like, no one can say that he's not been an investment that's been worthwhile, because it has been, you know what I mean? He scored 19 goals for us. If everyone's saying like Pensfield and everything, but like at least he did score them. Do you know what I mean? Like at least whenever he did get the penalty, he would go and put it in the back of the net. I think he missed one all season. Like everyone's saying, oh, Pensfield and everything. It's like, yeah, he might be, but at least he did score them as well. So like people laugh at say 20 million. We got at the top of the league and we broke the points record. We're back where we want to be, So like, it's all worthwhile in the end.
What these people don't kind of grasp though is the kind of style that we're set up to play, and having that high possession-based pressing football. It opens these opportunities to get more penalties because you're in the opposition's half a lot, and they just can't get the ball off you. So the only way to get the ball off you is to
exactly. Yeah, Kieran Dowell's took a lot of penalties for us this season as well. He's been just as good. But the story's not there, is it? The banter's not there, is it? So like people can say whatever they want, but I'm happy that he's scoring the goals and got us back into the championship and everything. So I think, we are going to spend big this summer, because I don't think you can't spend big nowadays. £30 million is an incredible amount of money. Yeah. But it's just the way football is nowadays, you know what I mean? Like it's only going to get more and more expensive. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like when you see it in business, you see like the trend. It'll keep going up. There'll never come a point where it starts to drop, unless there's like a market crash or something like that. Which like players are just going to get more and more expensive as the years go by. And it's only going to keep on happening when teams like Fulham keep on haggling 20 million for us over Jay Stansfield. So I think we'll spend more than 30.
But I'm glad you mentioned that, though, because people don't see that flip side of it, because realistically we had to spend that because Fulham were adamant that they wanted to keep him. So, I mean,
they were going to use him, yeah.
Fulham, they're a decent team, in the Premier League. They're a mid-table side, and they wanted to keep hold of him. They made it difficult for us to buy him, and the way it was going, he weren't coming. It was like a literally last-minute result.
I respect that as well, though. Yeah, I respect that, because West Brom had that same sort of ruthlessness to sort of say like, no, we're going to keep older players. We want the right price. It was always the one with Berahino, because like they would not sell him for less than 15 million or something like that at the time or whatever. Obviously, we probably could have done like a little bit more in hindsight, but like they wanted that price for him, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's right. We've got to adopt that sort of mentality as well. We've got to try and work the recruitment the other way around as well. You know what I mean? So like I think players like Kieran Dowell and Ben Davis, who are looking to sign on a permanent now, like I think they're roughly estimated to be about 3.5 million each. So I'm thinking like, we could try and haggle that down a little bit maybe, but who knows? It's not a terrible investment, is it? 6 million for 2 players that have been very well for us. Both got very good championship experience and everything. So, I think that's just the way football is nowadays, isn't it? You just got to get good at haggling, haven't you?
I mean, it's like you two said, I watch you guys all the time, and like you both said it on your own podcast about like the way that Blues play. I've said it myself, like the joy it's been to watch Blues play this way. We're not used to it, are we? So, like in that respect, it's been a great season.
Yeah.
It just goes to show we've broke pretty much every record going.
Well, I remember last season when I went to the open house at the start of the year. Wayne Rooney and everyone was still in charge and everything, and they were sort of showing through like the possession-based football they were trying to get them to do and everything, and they were showing all the stats and the data around it, and they were showing like over the last 7 seasons prior to the season that we're in, they were all saying like these teams that had the best possession-based stats in the league and they all got promoted, you know, so they were going to work towards that sort of possession-based thing. And I was looking at it, I was thinking, yeah, that there is an idea there, and I believe that because obviously you go off data a lot of the time that will become right. But also at the same time, I feel like this team ain't going to do that, you know, because we ain't got the better team, you know. Rooney's not the right manager, and we ain't got the players to do this, you know. This season, you know, they've backed that up perfectly because in the recruitment role, I've got to give credit to the recruitment team and particularly maybe even Craig Gardner as well, because when the guy came in, I wasn't too sure about it, and I probably called him out a few times on a few podcasts just because of like, you know, frustrated supporting the Blues, really. Just like many years of just nonsense, really, and then just having Craig Gardner come in. It just felt at the time like, oh, here we go again. We're just getting people in just to fill the position. But to be fair, he's proven me wrong in that regard, because the recruitment he's done alongside with the team this season has been perfect. You know, we've nailed it every single position. I can't name a player this season that I can go, yeah, I'm not happy with the way you performed. You know what I mean? Like we've just been. But like it's just been like perfect all season, like. So I feel like we've got the right idea this time. You know, we've got the right manager, we've got the right players. We just need to keep on enhancing now. There's no point going a step back or anything. Like if there's a manager that suddenly comes available, like Rooney did like last season, it's like, don't need that. We've got Davis, we've got Christoph Klara at the back, and everyone. You know, it's just like we're set now on this idea. We've got the right players for us. We just need to improve on them now. Just like the little areas where you could get like a little bit of a better player in, create some competition and everything, and we're flying them.
I think they just jumped the gun with Rooney, and you know, it was obvious they wanted to play this style of football, the style we're playing now. I think they just jumped the gun with Rooney. I think that the story was behind it. They asked Eustace to play that style of football, and Eustace said, "Look, I can't do these players." Do you know what I mean? He was honest. Do you know what I mean? I can't do it with these players. Bang, he's gone because he's basically told him the truth, and to a certain degree, although I didn't like Wayne Rooney, he was thrown under a bus and said pretty much the same. Well, these are the same set of players that John Eustace can't get. But I'd imagine Rooney would have gone, well, I can get him to play this way. Do you know what I mean? Exactly, and it turned out exactly the same. But like you said, Tommy, you know, they've done the fucking due diligence. You know, this season with Chris Davis, they've got the right men in, right recruitment team in, and yeah, this is the first season I've ever seen Blues play possession-based football, front-footed. You know, press from the front, play out from the back, quick, high-tempo football. It's really nice to watch. I know it's a massive culture shock for most of Blues fans. You know, what's this messing around, playing out from the back and getting up forward and that? It's you know, but yeah, the data. I remember that open house, and they had the data up of all the teams, like you mentioned, what have gone up and yeah. So it's looking all good, man. It's all good. Yeah, I'm really fucking buzzing for this season. Really am.
I think it's going to be a very entertaining season. I do, with the teams coming down as well, in comparison to how there was the previous season. You know, it's going to be a very entertaining season, and I think that a lot of teams are going to be playing the way we're playing. So it's going to open. We're not going to have like odd teams now, like in this league, that are just sitting back. They're going to be playing the same kind of style. It's going to be more entertaining. And I'd say like similar to the Newcastle game, you know, like how entertaining that was. I think it's going to be a very
I think as well, like if we start to perform really well at the start of the season, which we did when we were last in the Championship, actually, that start of the season, Eustace got us playing like a style of football that he could work with, didn't he, with the players that he had. I feel like we can do that to a team this season as well. I'm not going to say like, you know, we're going to be winning every game and everything. You know, because I don't know yet, do I? But like, I feel like we can at least, you know, if we start well, teams will start to respect us in a similar way that they did when we were in League One, because first couple of games, you know, we had a draw with Reading. Wickham really took us hard in that game. There's a lot of teams at the start of the season who were really coming for us and trying to get like results out of us, you know, because they didn't respect us the way they did until the end of the season. Because Charlton's the perfect example of that. You know, the team changed a little bit since then, but you know, the respect that Charlton had for us wasn't anywhere near the way that they respected us in the following game. So I feel like we can earn that respect really next season if we go really hard at it and really try and grind out those results, because then teams will back off us then. Because it happens, you know what I mean? Like when City before they had Guardiola, they'd always throw themselves at them and everything. Guardiola comes in and he implements that style. Teams just respect you then afterwards.
Yeah,
I think there will be a few teams what after like 10, 11 games that might come to St Andrews and try and not so much as like we've seen in League One, but sort of sit back a little bit. They won't be coming front-footed at us. I think we'll see a few teams, not a whole heap of teams, but I think we'll see a few teams what will sit back. But yeah, man, looking forward to it. Looking forward to the especially the home games as well, because it's going to be a lot more exciting. Hopefully, the atmosphere is going to be better as well.
I think it really will be if we get starting like really strongly. I mean, like I think like if we have that good start to the season, because we're already buzzing off the back of being happy about the club and everything. We head into this season and we're looking to like be pushing towards the Premier League and everything. Like the change in atmosphere will be massive, because before it was like just getting back to the Championship. It's good fun and everything. If we're on the verge of the Premier League, you can bet your bottom dollar that we're going to be bouncing around that place because everyone's just going to be ecstatic.
What I've got to say as well, I think Blues have been very, very clever with the way that they've done the transfer, but like also like the social media stuff. They've had a lot of
this season.
Yeah, well, we've had a lot of stick off the media and stuff as well about like the way we was playing. We got slated to start before the season even started, and we all know like how ambitious.
Let it go, Jay.
No. What I'm saying is that like Tom Wagner, like there's been another like recent post about him being like really naive about a back-to-back promotion, or like he wants to start the Championship.
Oh, that's Don Goodman, isn't it?
Yeah.
But like, he can't stand Blues. He can't.
Yeah, coming from the ex.
Arsehole he is, man.
Yeah, honestly.
But what I mean is the way that Tom Wagner has sealed a lot of these deals in terms of generating the revenues. He hasn't upped the ticket prices massively. He knows that there's other ways to get money into the club. We've already been told, that they're really open and stuff. They tell us pretty much everything. They're really transparent. And what I like about it is that we're generating money in terms of teams that are coming down with the parachute payments.
Yeah, exactly.
For the FFP stuff, and also expanding the squad as well. We've done it all properly.
The best thing that Tom Wagner's done is capitalise off of the real sort of feel-good factor that he's given back into the club, because as soon as he came in, he was always in the fan parks and everything, getting drinks with us and everything. And that you can't buy that. And everything that I always channel it down to watching Man United, because I look at them and I can't remember that. I think they beat Bilbao in the semi-finals a couple of days ago, and they celebrated and everything. I don't think, obviously, with Man United being in the state they're in at the moment, they're not particularly happy about even reaching a Europa League final and everything. But Ruben Amorim, and this is not a bad say on him or anything, but I just think it's that culture that Man United have. As soon as the full-time whistle went, he just went down the tunnel. There was none of that. Davis, on the other hand, he's walking around, talking to the players, talking to the opposition manager and everything. And then he does the cheers with us and everything. And even if we lose, he comes and claps the fans and everything. There's none of that with Man United or anything. And I feel like the way Tom Wagner's worked this round well is the fact that he's managed to create revenue off
unity.
Off of unity, and the fact that then that's a story, because honestly, Sky and TNT and all those sort of broadcasters out there, they're not interested in finding out about just the general football. They're there for stories. They're there for things like that. So when things like the Newcastle game come up and the BBC are like, well, this is a great game, we'll stick it on at prime time, because Blues are going really hard at the moment. They're loving life and everything. The team's great. They're really enjoying it. They've got a big game against Newcastle. And, Tom Wagner worked off of that, and you got a sellout and everything. It was always going to be a sellout anyway, but he's just worked it round the hype and the revenue that's come with it, So that Newcastle game is just the perfect example. We didn't win it, but we didn't need to win it, It was perfect advertising for us.
Even though we was proud.
Exactly.
Honestly,
there's such a pride in the club at the moment. You can't buy that stuff. He's put investments into the club, yes, but the pride you have in the club is the sort of the unity and everything. Because you remember before, everyone was so toxic about everything. You couldn't post anything about the Blues.
No.
And everyone's got their own suggestions on how to do things. Now, on the other hand, if you have a different suggestion about how the club should be run, it's not it's kind of irrelevant. You know what I mean? Because there's no point in saying it. You know, like the only things that people are really talking about at the moment are signings. We're not saying like, oh, this needs to change, that needs to change, this is shit, that's shit. So it, and Tom Wagner's worked off of that. He's gone in and said, look, we're going to be more proud of the club and everything. We're going to do it properly. So, the reason why we've got such good revenue is because he's worked off of that. He's not bought it, has he? He's not gone to like broadcasters and gone,
socialised,
doing
hasn't
it this way.
He socialised with the fans to get an idea of Blues for a start. Like he's obviously got the bug for it. He'd rather sit with the fans than sit in a luxury state of the leather seat. He'd rather sit on a chair, muddled in with the fans. But also because of that, like you said, Tommy, there's a lot of pride now that, like obviously, attracting a lot of fans back that did lose interest because, let's be honest, the last however many years has been shy, and fans that are coming back now in the numbers are spending the money, going to the games, the food that's dotted all around the parks, the club shop and IE generating that money back into the club.
Because let's be honest, like we're still spending the same amount probably when we were, going to games under BSHL. You know what I mean? Like no one spends a fortune there nowadays, do they? The like pints are pretty much the same price and everything. But you don't think twice about it nowadays, do you? Because you're going there, you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah, but because there's a feel-good factor, people are staying there longer. They're even getting there earlier. Like Nick was saying, like Nick said it loads of times about like a few years ago, like it felt like a chore that you had to go. It was painful to go, but you had to go because obviously you love the Blues. But like now, people can't wait to get there. They've brought out like a lot of pro kits as well that Blues fans love. There's stuff that I've got behind me that I loved as a kid, and these are the kind of stuff that you buy, and it's generating that revenue, more money back into the club, and
100%, man.
The FFP stuff, and on par with these parachute payments from other clubs. But I mean, what do you think, Nick, about like the way it is, like with Tom Wagner and like the financial stuff and what he's.
Yeah, man, he's got it spot on, isn't he? The merchandise thing was just amazing. It wasn't even as if he was like not boasting, but like I don't know, like I think I've been in that club shop twice since it's been redone, and it's just amazing the amount of tops you can get from the 90s, the 80s. The 2000s and online and everything, and it's just amazing, mate. He's done everything down to a T. I don't really bang on too much about Tom Wagner. I probably don't give him enough credit, if I'm being honest. But his team United have just been amazing, man. They've got it spot on. They've gelled with the fans. We've got 12,500 on the waiting list, season ticket. That's just unbelievable, mate. I remember when they first come in and we played Leeds at home. The stadium was half full because it was broke down. We beat Leeds 2-1. I think 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒆𝒔 scored a penalty, and Tom Wagner was at the game. And like obviously, they talked a little bit about what they was going to do, but you just don't know, do you, with owners? And what 2 years later, I mean, obviously we got relegated that season, but there was so many improvements and stuff like that what they got done, and we've had an amazing season this season, and it looks like we're going to have another amazing season. So yeah, man, I can't praise him enough, mate. Yeah, I can't praise him enough, man. Absolutely buzzing with him.
He's good, isn't he? Though, like I mean, like the player awards as well. Tommy, like his speeches and that, like he really wants to make it work. I mean, the fact that he'll socialise with the fans. He obviously gets us, but also as well about the stadium. And now that you recently posted a tweet, didn't you, Nick, about like you don't really want to move from St Andrews, but like you get it. Like we have to move with the time and stuff. Having a bigger stadium, that's going to generate a lot of money for the club as well. Wherever he wants to do on the side as well. Like the fact that he's doing all this, and he's marching down to London, like to number 10, to get the ball rolling. Like, what's going on with it? Like, I mean, what kind of owner does that? Like, off his own back. He's flying here, there, and everywhere. He's supporting the women as well, giving them a lot of credit and stuff. And it's nice. His heart's like proper in it. Like he's.
Well, he's came in here with this massive idea of this, sports quarter, this, that, and the other. And, I kind of thought, oh, God, he's going a bit too extra here. 60,000 Blues fans. I can't see that. We was getting 18, 19,000 at the time. I thought, how the hell we're going to get 60,000, even in the Premier League. That's what I was thinking at the time.
So we went to the league against Peterborough.
Yeah, and now like we're back in the Championship first season. We sold out our season tickets, 12,500 on the waiting list. So you have to move with the times, and I can imagine by the time it's built, we'll be hopefully, touch wood, challenging. We'll be in the Premier League, challenging for a Champions League spot, and that might sound fucking wild. But why not, man? Because Villa have done it. Do you know what I mean? I remember when Villa were mid-table in the Championship, right? With about 17 games to go. They got They got promoted via the playoffs. They just about survived relegation the following season. Should have gone down. Sheffield United scored the goal. The ball was behind the post. And then the following season, and look what's happened to them. So in Forest, there's a few teams. So why can't it happen to us? Because we're probably
in a better position going through.
Yeah, man. We're one of the most desirable clubs in the Football League at the moment. That's facts. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, we are. 100%.
Facts, man.
There's a lot of eyes on Blues at the minute as well. What I am interested in, what I'm really interested in, is how Wrexham are going to get on as well. I'm not going to go into him too much. Obviously, we're talking about Blues, but I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how they're going to get on. Like, it's going to be odd for them. They're going to invest a lot of money.
I don't know about them. I think they. I don't know. I think they might be. I think they might struggle. To be honest, I think they might be in a bit of a battle for relegation, but. Who knows? Yeah. It's football at the end of the day, so anything can happen. They could storm the league and win it. They could go straight back down. They might survive. It's one of those. They're a bit of a tough team to work out. I think with Blues, you've got a bit of you've got a bit of an educated guess, haven't you? Because we're doing well, we've got money, and we've been in the Championship in recent years as well. I don't know with Wrexham, it's like they've got a lot to do. I feel like they've gotten promoted and everything. And credit to them, they've stuck in and they've done really well. But I don't know. It'll be hard. Yeah.
But going back to the revenue side of things as well, we've obviously got the documentary coming out as well, available.
Yeah.
Now that's going to generate massive amounts of revenue again for Blues. Also as well with the Wrexham and Horio, we're on it, and they've kind of made it like a Tom Brady and Ryan Reynolds kind of thing. So we're in the opening bit of their season
trailer.
4. Trailer. So that's what massive again for Blues, because it's all eyes on Blues. Again, and the likes of Wrexham with their story and their ideology. So, like in terms of the revenue, that's going to add more for our expenditure going forward as well. Whether it's a lot this season or like if we can get these back-to-back promotions, like we mentioned earlier, like it's all going to benefit going towards that. But it's fantastic, lads, isn't it? I mean, what a position to be in at the minute, and like the likes of Chris Davis as well. I mean, he's obviously said that he likes being under pressure and stuff. Do you think there's going to be a lot of pressure on him this season, like in comparison to last season? Or
there'll be a fuckload of pressure for him, honestly, because everyone will be looking for him to cough now. They'll be looking at any sort of moment where he goes, "Oh, he's lost his first home game since da 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 da." He's done this. He's lost this many games now. Birmingham City have conceded this amount of goals and everything. Why? Because there's a story there, isn't there? And the media outlets, they like having that because it's something to talk about. It gets engagement, it gets clicks and everything. So
even our own fans, Tommy, will be saying things like that.
Yeah, they will. I mean, like that might be a sudden reality check for us again, maybe when things do start to go wrong. But the thing is with Davis, I think he's such a professional because, like, Even though even though it's a silly thing to bring up, but like when everyone was doing the Davis give us a wave, he weren't interested, and it was making me smile because he was just stood there, just like with his arms crossed. It's like, nah, I'm focusing on the game. Tom Wagner did it because he's obviously like just chilled and everything. But
He loves it.
yeah, he loves that, doesn't he? But like, I think with Davis though, and I remember saying this at the start of last season. Actually, it might have even been on this podcast actually, Jay. But I remember saying like, Davis and the team, they've just got to stay focused on themselves. And I think he has nailed that into every single player in that dressing room, particularly in the Newcastle game, I remember as well. It's like, we've just got to focus on ourselves. Let the fans out there enjoy their time and everything. Like that's for us to do that. Is, you know, we've got a job to do, and he's got that so nailed into the players this season. And again, like next season, you know, like, fans will have their opinion. I will have my opinions. Jay, you will have your opinion. Same you, Nick, and everything. Like, we're allowed to have our opinions. You know, it's a free society. We're allowed to say anything we want about anything. So when it comes to Davis on the pitch, though, he can listen to it. You know, he doesn't have to agree with it. Of course, you know, I'm just giving my opinion. You know, I know nothing about football management when it comes to that. Like, compared to Chris Davis, the guy's an absolute genius. You know what I mean? So like, he's just got to focus on himself, and so have the team, and they will. And with a good feel around the club and everything, I can't see why we can't fly next season. There will be tricky moments, but I can see us really going for it and really working hard, and yeah, maybe even pushing for a promotion spot.
There's a few good points here, and Sam, again, I'd like to see what you guys think, because like you said, we've all got different thought processes and stuff, but like, the good thing is we've got that winning mentality of obviously getting promoted. Like a real good feel factor with the fans, the team, Chris Davis, Tom Wagner. There's a lot of unity now at the club, so we've got that. Hopefully we can bring that into the season in the Championship, smashing the records. Chris Davis said, you know, he likes being under pressure. He likes having a challenge. But what I really like about Chris Davis is as well, it's like you said, Tommy, about like, you know, when the fans are chanting and like, Chris Davis give us a wave and he's just got his arms folded. But like, if you watch him, every time the ball goes out, mate, he's on his tablet and he's analysing. You know, he's focused on the game like properly. And these are the kind of managers that you want, because they're looking at ways.
He's so focused on the game, he ain't even hearing the crowd.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't even think it's he's not waving because he's heard the fans. I think he's just so zoned in on the game that nothing else matters. Do you know what I mean? He kicks every ball. So yeah, but the pressure will be on him 100%. There'll be eyes on him. I can imagine some of our fans will be, you know, if we go a couple of defeats, 2 or 3 defeats, it'll be. I just urge everyone just to be patient, man, and you know, we're not going to win every game like we did last season. We're obviously up to level. Just get behind him, man, and we'll be all right. We'll be all right, man. Trust me.
Yeah, I think as well, like with Blues at the minute as well, he's, you know what it was like the season before, like with the manager scenario, it was a shit show, and it's like you said, Nick, we're not going to win every game. We're going to lose games. It might be like 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, I hope it doesn't happen. Obviously, so I want Blues to win. You know, to bias Blues. You know, just passionate fans at the end of the day. But like, we don't want Blues to lose. But at some point, we probably are. But like, the last thing we want now is we've got the unity. Now we've got that feel good factor back. Like he even said, Tom Wagner, he wants to bring the fans back that used to go. Like he wants those fans back as well. They're basically saying, you know, you've suffered a lot. So with that kind of going forward, I think now we've got the unity. The last thing we want now is a managerial change. Like it's like it said, you know, we've got to be positive and get behind him and give him our support and just be patient.
Be optimistic though as well, because you know, these opportunities might not come around in the way they might do in seasons to come, you know, because you've got to think in years to come, this sort of hype that is around the team and everything, it just will naturally die out. Do you know what I mean? Like this high that we're feeling right now, you know, it might never come again. Do you know what I mean? So like the fans should be optimistic and they should be enjoying it exactly like, because, you know, they may never come around again in the same way. You know, we might get things, you know, I won't even say like the suggestions, but you know what I mean? I'm trying to say like, you know, people should be living in the moment, do you know what I mean? And trying to like see the positives out of things, you know, and be optimistic, you know, because it's contagious then as well. Do you know what I mean? Like our feeling of how like we've been around the club and everything this season is just it's passed on to the players, you know. And I remember when Ethan Laird did this like last season, like he was trying to do like the commands to the fans and everything, but like the stadium was half empty, no one was interested. We were in a relegation battle and everything. If you did that this season, though, you guarantee that would work off, you know, because it goes back and forth. You know what I mean? So, like, when you have that contagious feel, when you have like everything's going well and everything, you got to keep going with it, you know. And the Blues fans still are naturally pessimistic, and I, you know, as a lifelong Blues fan myself as well, you know, I understand that as well. But at the moment, in this current period that we're currently in, we should be positive. And if people are going to moan at us for saying, like, oh, look at you thinking you're going to blast on and try and get into the Premier League, it's like, well, why wouldn't you? If you're just going to sit there and trying to be all diplomatic about it all the time, I want to go win. I want to get in the Premier League. So, like, if we've got this opportunity now, like, let's go and grab it with both hands. You know what I mean? So I feel like, the fans are really up for it this season. I think if there is an opportunity for us to make the playoffs or something, or even greater than that, let's go and do it. Because it'd be amazing. Imagine if we actually do it. Imagine if we're sitting here at the end of this season and thinking, we are in the Premier League.
Can you imagine completing the Champions League? What ��𝒂𝒃 going to come out with? I mean, you know,
those are aspirations, isn't they?
Yeah. Like, these are only ambitions. I that work as well. The couple of lads that support like various other teams like Wolves, Albion, and Villa fans. And now those taking the piece. But I was like, you know, he's not saying he's going to do it and we're going to do it. He wants to try and do it. You know, he's showing a bit of ambition. But why can't we? You know,
because as well, like I was just saying as well, like if we're looking back on this in a few years' time and thinking, oh, that was a great time. I wish I had those times back. You know, like if by all at the end of this sort of hype and we're sort of like in Leicester's position after a couple of years, maybe in the Premier League, and we're starting to come down on the decline and everything, we're all thinking, oh, I wish we'd made a bit more excitement out of that. You know. Because I think that's the problem with Blues fans sometimes, and just football fans generally. We're always thinking ahead too much. It's like, oh, well, what about next season when it's going to be hard? Or what about the season after and everything? Like, enjoy it now, honestly.
Enjoy the moment, innit?
Like, you know, we're not always going to win the league by 111 points. We'll probably never win it again like that. You know, it'd be amazing if we ever win another league again. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so unlikely again. So, like... live it up, man. Honestly, like people should be enjoying the moments. Don't look back on it in 6 years' time or something when it's all died down just from natural progression of everything. And thinking, I wish I was there still. Yeah, exactly.
Joys and sorrows, mate.
No, I totally agree, man. Just roll with the punches, innit?
Yeah, exactly. You know?
There's one more question, guys. I want to run with you before I let you go. So now you're both busy. It's about like the Chris Davis again. He's like if he kicks his season off with a bang and hopefully we're up there, like at least trying to get into a playoff spot. His other teams like sniffing around him. That's another thing. What
Tom Magler said that during the awards, though, didn't he? He was saying like, "You've earned my respect and everything. You've come a long way since that first video call and everything." And he said, "You're not going anywhere." Which I think is just like whatever they'll offer you, will offer you the same, really. And I believe that.
Did he say that? Did he tell me? I didn't hear that. Yeah, that's class. Yeah, because I mean, you had Kieran McKenna, didn't you, last season? And I think it was after about 10 games. I think they'd won nine and drew one or something. And then Man United were sniffing around, weren't they? And I thought he'll go, he will. And now he's stuck with them. And I'm sure he'll stick with them next season. So we want something like that, don't we? We don't want him going nowhere.
I mean, it's like you know, like the only reason I mention that is because it's like when you go for a job interview and you want to change jobs. You know, he's changed. All right, he's been a coach, but like being a manager, like it's a different job role. He's made that decision to start a new career being a manager, and his first managerial role. And let's be honest, you know. Whether it's League One, League Two, wherever league, look what he's achieved already in his first season.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't for his first season as a manager, and mate, he ain't just smashed one record; he smashed every record.
Honestly, it's been incredible, hasn't it? The amount of records that we've broken this season. It's like you couldn't dream of it, even if it is League One. Like people want to laugh at it, and it's like, I don't see you doing this. I don't see anybody doing that.
No one's done it half night, you know what I mean? So, yeah, man. So, hats off to Chris Davis. That's off
Yeah.
to him, mate.
What's your parting message for the Bluenoses, Nick, that are watching?
Just pretty much what Tommy said. Just enjoy the moment, man. Do you know what I mean? Look, we've had a great season. I've really enjoyed it. I've made some great memories. You know, I've never seen a season like that supporting Blues, especially after the last 14 seasons of going down there and being so dross. It's been an amazing season. I can definitely see that we're on the rise. Everything's going in the right direction. I don't think the club has been in a better situation than it is now. Do you know what I mean? Now we're moving to the Championship. Like I said, I looked at the teams what are going to be in the Championship next season, and not one of them scare me. Do you know what I mean? And that's not saying we're going to finish top of the league and we're going to get 100 points like Leeds or Burnley did. But I think we can have a fucking good go at the top two. And if not the top two, we're definitely top six. I mean, look at Coventry, 17 losses, and they still made the
Playoffs, yeah.
You know, the playoffs. So and then it's a lottery in it. So yeah, you know, I'm buzzing, man. Like I say, even if it was playoffs and we wasn't to get up first season, second season, I would imagine it would go big again in terms of transfers, and then you're looking at top two. But with Wagner and that, it looks like he wants to go bang straight up, you know, and hence why the pressure will be on Chris Davis again. But like you said, Jay, he thrives off pressure, and I think as long as they give him the tools, we'll be fine.
And he's openly said that as well, hasn't he? Like, he wants the pressure.
Yeah.
So I mean to hear that, you know, that's kind of like a comfort thing as a fan, that like he wants to be, because we all want to be tested, don't we? Like, we don't want an easy ride. We all want to see what we're capable of doing to the best of our abilities, and not for him to openly say that as well. And then you got the likes of Tom Wagner saying you're not going anywhere. We're kind of being reassured from a lot of angles here. So it's What's your parting message for the Bluenoses, Tommy, that are watching?
Well, I think I've already lectured everybody about it already, but I'll give it another go. Like I was saying earlier, you know, enjoy the times while they're here, you know, because you don't want to be looking back on them in 4 or 5 years' time when we are struggling and things might not be going as well, you know. And looking back on these times and thinking, God, they were great times, but I really didn't enjoy them the best I probably could. So, you know, celebrate goals like you want to, you know, smile, be happy, laugh about things. You know, us Brummies, we've got great sense of humours and everything. You know, love having a laugh and everything. So enjoy the times while they're here. You know, and you never know when we do actually win something that's meaningful. If we win the playoffs at Wembley, all those horrible memories of when we went to Wembley in April and everything, they'll just be like, they'll have been like character building. Do you know what I mean? Because like if we come to May and in this season, and in May next year, and we're in the playoff final, we win. God knows how we'd win, but you know, and we're in the Premier League. You know, those moments are just gonna be great. So enjoy it. You know, like, and the ride's gonna be fantastic. There's gonna be some bumps along the way, but we'll take it on the chin. And I do believe that we can have an opportunity of being in the debate of going up this season. You know, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Do you know what I mean? It's not the end of the world. You know, you don't have to be like put all your eggs into one basket, and if nothing, you know, then get no reward for it. So like sometimes, you know, patience is a virtue. You know, so like you just got to wait it out sometimes. So if it's this season, great. We'll have a great season in the Premier League as well, even if we do get relegated or if we survive or whatever. If we don't go straight up or anything and we have a couple of seasons or whatever, you know, like it is what it is. But just enjoy the times while they're here. You know what I mean? I think like we've had a lot of bad times in that 13-year period when we got relegated from the Premier League and then relegated into League One and everything. Like there were hard times and there were testing times, but we've stuck through it all, you know. And I feel like nowadays, like we've got so much to be optimistic and so much to be proud of as well. So literally, like, as Tom Wagner would say, fuck them all, because it's a great way of saying it as well, because like whatever people have to say about it, just don't listen to them. You know, I think Twitter's got a lot to play with that really, and I get why people like going on Twitter, But like, if someone wants to have a go at you for saying like, "Oh, stop supporting your team so well, but you're only in League One," tell them to fuck off. You know what I mean? Like, we're proud Blues fans. You know, we've stuck for it for such a long time. If we're winning and having fun and everything, tell them to fuck off. You know what I mean? Like, we're enjoying life. You know, we're winning. Like, who else wins 111 points? No one. That's who. So that's like, if you can't be like happy about celebrating that, then you're never going to be. You're never going to find anything happy. So. Smile, be happy, have a laugh and everything. And if we get promoted to the Premier League, thank me.
Yeah. But lads, honestly, I can't thank you all enough as well for coming on it. Let's be honest, short notice. You know what I'm like when I'm working. I live in the moment, not myself. But yeah, honestly, lads, I love you both a bit. And if you could kindly give this video a like and a share, subscribe to Nick and his channel as well. Chatting Blues, and if you could subscribe to Tommy's channel, Blues Focus, and then if you can drop a subscription to myself as well, the Boy in Blue. Obviously, if you're watching this video, that would mean a lot to me as well. But yeah, my parting message is keep right on, shit on the Villa, and fuck them all. Come on, you Blue boys!
Keep right on, guys. Cheers, man.
See you later, boys.
Who's that? Me? Oh, yeah, you. Sorry. Hello, boy. Wherever we go.
Tony and Dad.
7-0 now, I'm here. Let's fucking have it.